Snow falls gently on a remote Himalayan village as twilight fades into darkness. Inside a centuries-old monastery, monks sit cross-legged in deep meditation. The only sounds are the flickering of butter lamps and the low, rhythmic hum of ancient chants. Suddenly, one of the monks begins to rise. Slowly, without assistance or visible effort, he floats inches off the ground, his body perfectly still, his eyes closed. A visiting anthropologist, hidden behind a wooden column, drops his notebook in silent awe. He had come to document culture, but instead witnessed the impossible. When the footage was analyzed, skeptics pointed to camera tricks, but there were no wires, no signs of deception, and no scientific framework to explain what he saw. The laws of physics, the ones etched into textbooks and carved into the minds of scholars, offered no answer. And so the question lingers. What do we do when science meets silence? When data runs out, but the mystery remains. This is not a story about what we know. It is a journey into what we do not. These are the 10 things science still cannot explain. 1. The placebo effect. Healing without medicine. Picture a patient with unbearable knee pain. Surgeons perform what seems like a routine operation. But the twist? No actual procedure was done. The doctors only made a superficial incision and then closed it. Months later, the patient reports total recovery. This is the placebo effect, and it has baffled scientists for over a century. Despite having no active ingredients, sugar pills and fake procedures have led to real improvements. Brain scans show increased dopamine, reduced inflammation, and even changes in immune response. But why? Placebos should do nothing, and yet belief alone rewires the body. We don't fully understand who is most susceptible or how to predict its effectiveness. It's as if the mind carries an internal pharmacy that activates on suggestion alone. Science recognizes the placebo effect, but it cannot explain its depth, its limits, or its true potential. 2. Dark matter, the invisible majority. Everything we see, touch, and measure makes up only 5% of the universe. The rest is invisible. Somewhere out there, beyond telescopes and sensors, exists something that bends light, tugs on galaxies, and holds the cosmos together. Scientists call it dark matter. We cannot see it. We cannot touch it. But without it, galaxies would fly apart. Observations from the Hubble Space Telescope show gravitational effects that cannot be explained by visible mass. The motions of stars suggest the presence of something massive and unseen. For decades, physicists have tried to detect dark matter particles in underground laboratories, using the most sensitive instruments ever built. But they have found nothing. It is the ultimate cosmic ghost, always influencing, never revealing. The universe hides its secrets well. 3. Consciousness, the mystery of awareness. You are aware of reading this. You know you are you. But what is consciousness really? Is it just neurons firing in complex patterns? Or is it something deeper? Neuroscience can map brain activity, identify regions responsible for language, emotion, memory. But it cannot explain why we feel. Why does a certain pattern of electrical activity create love, anger, or sorrow? Artificial intelligence can mimic conversation, recognize faces, even write stories. But it does not feel. The hard problem of consciousness, as philosopher David Chalmers calls it, remains unsolved. Why is there a subjective experience at all? Where does the self truly live? Consciousness might be the last frontier, not just of science, but of what it means to be alive. 4. The wow. Signal. A call from the stars? In 1977, astronomer Jerry Amon sat in front of a printout from Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope. He noticed a sudden spike in frequency, a clear, powerful signal coming from deep space. It lasted 72 seconds. It never repeated. Next to the data, Amon scribbled one word in red pen: wow. The wow signal has never been explained. It did not match any known astronomical event, nor did it resemble a man-made source. Some speculated it was a signal from extraterrestrial intelligence. Others argued for a natural phenomenon never before observed. But no one could confirm either. Follow-up scans found nothing. It was a message written in cosmic ink, vanishing before we could read it. To this day, it stands as one of the most tantalizing maybes in scientific history. 5. Ball lightning, fire from nowhere. You are sitting inside your home during a thunderstorm. Suddenly, a glowing orb the size of a grapefruit floats through your wall, hovers silently, then disappears with a soft pop. You are not hallucinating. You have just witnessed ball lightning. For centuries, people have reported these strange, glowing spheres. They float, pass through windows, explode, and sometimes even kill. Unlike regular lightning, ball lightning defies explanation. It appears without warning, leaves few traces, and is almost impossible to reproduce in laboratories. Some theories suggest plasma, others speak of microwave interference or exotic gases. None are definitive. The phenomena slips between science and folklore, leaving only burn marks and stunned witnesses. 6. Déjà vu, glitches in the mind. You walk into a room and suddenly feel you have been there before. You know the layout, the scent, the sounds, even though you are sure this is your first visit. This is déjà vu, a fleeting but intense sense of familiarity. Psychologists suggest it is a memory processing hiccup, where the brain confuses the present with the past. Others believe it could be tiny delays in neural circuits. But these are only theories. No one knows for certain why déjà vu happens, or why it feels so real. Some link it to dreams or to the multiverse, the idea that you are briefly experiencing a parallel timeline. It lasts only a moment, but leaves a haunting impression, as if the universe is whispering that something, somewhere, has already happened. 7. Near-death experiences, glimpses beyond. A woman lies on the operating table, flatlined for minutes. When revived, she describes floating above her body, seeing the surgeons, hearing their words. Later, her details match exactly. No one told her. She was clinically dead. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, have been reported for generations. Bright lights, tunnels, reunions with deceased loved ones, overwhelming peace. These elements cross cultures and ages. Neuroscience tries to explain it with lack of oxygen, hallucinations, or protective neural chemistry. But there are cases where the brain had no activity, and yet the memories formed. People return with new personalities, sudden talents, or deep spiritual awakenings. Are these just tricks of the dying brain, or are we catching a glimpse of something on the other side? 8. The Taos. Hum, a sound with no source. In a quiet town in New Mexico, residents began complaining about a low-frequency humming noise. It sounded like an engine idling just beyond the hills. But when researchers arrived with microphones and sensors, they heard nothing. The Taos hum, as it is now known, is heard by only a small percentage of the population. It is not just in Taos. Similar hums have been reported in the UK, Canada, and Australia. Scientists have tested for mechanical sources, geological vibrations, and even mass hysteria. Nothing fits. The hum remains a sound without a source, echoing in the minds of the few who can hear it. 9. The origin of life. Life on Earth began 4 billion years ago. But how did it start? Theories point to a primordial soup, where chemicals somehow became living cells. But no experiment has ever recreated that moment. We know how life evolves, but not how it begins. Even with controlled environments, complex organic molecules refuse to organize into anything remotely alive. Some believe life came from elsewhere, riding on meteorites in a theory called panspermia. Others think Earth itself had the perfect storm of conditions. But no one can say for certain. The first spark remains hidden in time, locked away in molecules we still cannot command. 10. The Mandela effect. When memory breaks reality. Do you remember the Monopoly man with a monocle? Or the phrase, "Luke, I am your father"? If so, your memory betrays you. The Monopoly man has no monocle, and Darth Vader never said those words. This is the Mandela effect. A phenomenon where large groups of people share the same false memory. Named after people falsely remembering Nelson Mandela dying in prison, this effect challenges the reliability of collective memory. Some blame flawed recollection. Others whisper about alternate realities colliding. Could our minds be slipping between timelines? Or are we just editing history in real time? Science has no definitive answer. And that, perhaps, is what makes it so unnerving. In the age of artificial intelligence, quantum physics, and interstellar telescopes, we often believe there is nothing we cannot understand. That everything, given time and technology, will be decoded, mapped, and explained. But perhaps mystery is not a gap in our knowledge, but a feature of existence. Perhaps the universe keeps its secrets not to frustrate us, but to remind us of wonder. To remind us that some truths cannot be measured. They can only be felt, witnessed, and respected. Science is a lighthouse in the fog, but the ocean remains vast. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and explore our next documentary that takes you deeper into the mysteries of the human mind. Until then, stay curious,